We begin this hour with the shooting in Midtown Manhattan that shattered the busy rush hour commute. Police say a gunman walked right into an office tower yesterday just before 6:30 p.m. and started shooting. You can see him here carrying a military-style rifle. Police say he did have a history of mental illness. Among the 4 people dead, NYPD officer Didarul Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh who had a wife and 2 children, and also one on the way. Joining us now is New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who is going to help us unpack all this. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Okay, so there's interesting choices from this jump, and I'm jumping in here because I think it's a news piece that is pretty well set up. We know what happened, but I want to go bigger on this one to let me go to Eric Adams here. I'll go small, he'll go big. Look at this right here. Okay, the instant thing that jumps into my head is that they're both in New York City. CBS Mornings is based in Times Square. He's in New York City. He's clearly in office of the New York City mayor. Why isn't he in studio? That's the immediate thing that jumps to mind for me. Also, look at the setup here. Look at you got 2 flags here, so it's formal. You have Adams dead center, which is typical for a politician. They're usually in between flags, but Adams has a tie. He's coiffed, and he is clearly trying to give off a stern, I'm doing the business of the people kind of vibe.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for acknowledging the loss of our officer as well as other civilians who were murdered during this encounter.
Mayor Adams.
Adams immediately goes, he does the right thing here. Immediately, he starts with, thank you for having me, and thank you for, as a leader of the city of New York, he wants to make sure that he acknowledges that this is national media acknowledging these New Yorkers who are lost.
Do we know anything more about the suspect? And we also heard that he had a note on him. Do you know the context of said note, if that is indeed true?
Yes, he did have a note on him. The note alluded to that he felt he had CTE, a known brain injury for those who participate in contact sports. He appeared to have blamed the NFL for his injury. The NFL headquarters is located in the building at 345 Park Avenue. From our preliminary investigation, he took the wrong elevator bank up to the NFL headquarters. Instead, it took him to Rudin Management, and that is where he carried out additional shootings and took the lives of additional employees.
Adams clearly well prepared there. He and I thought this was very slick, and clearly quite something he was ready to do, sort of in this kind of format. He didn't step on what we already knew. He added to something. He added some new details. He showed that he's the mayor. He's the star. He is the guest here. He's there for a reason. He's there because he has information that not everybody else has. So what he does is he immediately validates that. He gives that for upfront. This is what I know. I think that so far this is an A.
Mayor, that is some crucial detail there for us. I also want to take this time now to ask you about Officer Didarul Islam. This is a 36-year-old NYPD officer. He was an immigrant to this country. He was killed by the gunman. He had 2 sons. He and his wife were expecting a third. What can you tell us about the meeting that you had with his family, and how are they doing this morning?
A very painful moment, as you could expect. He was a proud member of the Bangladeshi community as well as a proud member of the NYPD. He wanted to leave a legacy, and it was part of our overall recruitment efforts, particularly for Muslim officers after September 11th. There were so many fine young men and women who wanted to be a part of our public safety apparatus. It's something that I participated in the recruitment of when I was with the department and 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care. As you stated, 2 children, 1 on the way. This was his dad's only son. And you can only imagine the level of pain that he has experienced seeing his son die in this manner. But he has a proud family. He was a devoted person to his faith and to the city of New York. And we lost a fine young man through this senseless act of violence. And this gun came into our city from Las Vegas. The individual drove across country to come here, and it just makes our challenge what we have done in the city about removing illegal guns off the streets. We have strong gun laws here, but many of our neighboring states have lax gun laws. This person appears to have had a sealed permit, even with his mental health challenges.
Okay, so once again, this is Adams doing really well. He's keeping still. He's not moving too much. He's lowered the tone of voice. He is channeling the pain of his constituency. I have no doubt that he feels it. So, and then he offers a personal detail for people who don't follow New York politics. They may not know that Eric Adams has a connection to the RPD. Not RPD, but NYPD. He has a connection to that police department. He used to recruit at the police department. He was a police officer, I believe. And Eric Adams said, hey, this is a thing that I worked on. This is a personal for me, not just as a mayor, not just as a New Yorker, but as something I had a stake in, something that both the journalists and the audience at home, both the people around the world and the New Yorkers who in a couple months will have a chance to vote for the guy again, may not understand. Hey, I'm a cop. I was recruiting cops. So I'm slyly slipping that in. And then he goes into further detail about where this comes from. Once again, validating why I'm here. I am here because the media wants to know something special. It's unlike the way that JJ Redick handled things. JJ Redick was insulted by the idea that the media was asking a question, they wanted to know more about his process. He may have took it as an insult, but no. It's just them wanting to know more. Instead, Adams is being forthright here. He's just saying, hey, this is what I know. This is more about what happened.
Mayor, thank you for telling us about that meeting that you had with Officer Islam's family, and we are praying for them. We also want to know more about the other victims. What can you tell us, Mayor?
They were employees. One person who was shot was security personnel. He is in critical condition at this time. The perpetrator shot an innocent woman in the lobby area, and then he walked towards the counter where there was a security guard. If he was able to get to the button, he could have froze the elevator, but he was assassinated behind the counter as he was attempted to hide himself behind the counter. He was killed as well. And the suspect then took the elevator upstairs, and which is really uncanny episode. We allowed a woman who exited the elevator to walk past him without discharging his gun. But then he went on to the floor of Rudin Management and proceeded to discharge a multiple number of rounds. And the Rudin Management had a safe room on each floor, which doubled as a bathroom, where there were you were able to lock yourself in a bulletproof door. That company, and I have to really commend them for the drills that they do for active shooters, as well as different procedures in place to protect their employees. It's unfortunate that these drills have become commonplace in America,
Right.
but our corporate partners have been cooperative around this.
Mayor,
More detail, clearly schooled on what happened, clearly knowing things that had not really reported at this point, things that weren't top secret, things that you could share. You want to come off in this case as a leader and and a person who's in the know, not someone who's just regurgitating what we already know. And for the average Joe, the person who may not know every detail of this case, he's serving that purpose, even sharing things that are getting reactions from these anchors. Now, just to be honest here, this isn't the most aggressive interview possible. You could certainly push on things like, okay, well, why, about guns and the shooter and maybe high profile people in places with more security and more police around. You could conceivably go there, but these anchors seem to have no inclination. This is a pretty straightforward approach. They just want to know who, what, when, how, and why in more details. And he's certainly playing this role very well.
To go to his home with our partners in the federal and state law enforcement partners in Las Vegas.
Right.
But our corporate partners have been cooperative around this.
Mayor, you held a prominent role in the NYPD. So the question that we have is, what comes next in this investigation?
We're going to.
Boy, I mean, it is softball after softball. Like, they're not throwing anything hard at him. You probably wouldn't expect it unless there was a clear, a clear storyline that they could lean into. I understand why there's not much of a push here, very hard on him. He just set up, as one person I interviewed years and years ago called it a golden opportunity
to look at the perpetrators' social media pages. We're going to go to his home with our partners in the federal and state law enforcement partners in Las Vegas. We're going to look at the note and determine if it's his handwriting. And so there's a thorough investigation that is going to really start putting the pieces together to go over his path on how he took the lives of innocent people. A total of 6 people were shot.
Yeah.
One, of course, is the suspect. So there are many levels. And we know that New York is shaken, so you're going to see a visible presence of our CRC team, critical response team, and you're going to see even some non-visible police and law enforcement protections that will be in place.
Yeah, real quick, we have to go. Have you talked to President Trump yet?
No, we have not communicated with the White House. They did inquire. We did communicate with our federal partners here, with the special agent in charge of the FBI agency here.
Mayor Eric Adams, I know you're a busy man, so thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Very straightforward, very simple, nothing all that special, honestly, in terms of the questioning. Not a hardball interview at all. But Adams, he gets an A. Like, he handled it incredibly well. I thought that he knew his stuff well enough to get through a just basic explanatory news interview. And honestly, that's what most news interviews, especially in breaking news situations like this, are. They're explanatory. They're reporters who don't really understand what happens and want to explain why. They're just asking why. You need to be able to explain why, and through your answers, much like Adams did, need to be able to explain that, yeah, you're talking to the right person, and these are the reasons why, and this is how this connected with me as a mayor in this case, as a former police officer, as a New Yorker, and as a person who met grieving families. Like these are all things that are pretty obvious, but things that are often missed. And Adams and his team did this very well. Well, on that note, I'm James A. Brown. This has been the Media Performance Podcast. And good night.